Do you have pets and you want to add some greenery to your home but you're unsure what plants will be safe for your animals? In this video I'm going to share with you a list of great plants that you can get to add that greenery to your home, as well as some colour. I'll also share a brief list of the plants that are unsafe for pets. Some of them are quite popular, so they may surprise you. I'll also share an additional resource that you can use to check the safety of plants before you buy them. So we'll start with this popular one. You may recognise it. It's the Pilea peperomioides, or money plant or pancake plant. Gets its common name from these lovely round leaves. It's quite an unusual looking one, with the leaves coming off very long stems off the main stem. This one's only a small version. You'd usually get them in this sort of size, or maybe even a bit smaller, but they can grow quite large, maybe to a medium-sized sort of plant if you look after them and help them grow. These are really easy to look after. You can let the soil dry out between waterings. They'll forgive you if you forget to water it occasionally, and you can usually see if it does need watering. I mean, I've just given this one a water because it's ever so slightly droopy on the leaves. It will be pretty much okay in any light setting as well, so it's okay in low light, it's okay in sort of bright indirect light as well as. So wherever you might need to put it in your room, I'm sure you'll be able to find a space for one of these, and you'll know that it's safe for your animals too. So this next one is one of my favourites. This is the Cheveria aquatica, or Mexican fortune tree. It really is a fantastic plant and brightens up any space that it's in with these lovely lush green leaves. This is incredibly easy to look after. It just likes bright indirect light, and it also only requires watering occasionally. It does like to keep some slightly moist soil, but you can let the top of it dry out between waterings. They usually come with a braided stem for that added sort of visual interest of the plant. This one's only sort of linked at the bottom, has grown quite a lot since I've had it, so I might need to braid these together myself, but usually when you see it in shops you will find that they are braided together already if you want something a little bit more interesting. This really is good for any spot. It is an incredibly fast grower, so if you've got a spot, maybe a medium, even a large size spot that you want to fill, buy this a little bit smaller and it will grow very fast and fill that space. And even if it does get too big, you can just trim it back anytime and it will recover really quickly, and you can even propagate these stems and the leaves if you wish to multiply it. So we've gone from large to small, from tree to this succulent. So this is an Cheveria purple ghost. There are many varieties of these available in all different colours to suit whatever look you're going for in your home. So you can get white ones, light green ones, dark green ones, ones with more purple to them, reds, magentas. You could even try mixing them up and have a sort of nice visual display of them. These are incredibly easy to look after, so they only require watering when the soil is dry. They can also go without watering for quite some time. As they are succulent plants, they save water in the leaves and the stem. So maybe if you're out and about a lot, or maybe not home sometimes, these will forgive you forgetting to water, and they will survive if you go on holiday. They are perfect for small spaces. Of course, they're very, very small, and they grow quite slowly, so you don't need to worry about them suddenly shooting out the pot and taking over like some plants do, like the Cheveria aquatica, which grows really fast. This is really important to note though, that we're talking about Cheveria varieties here. So this is a type of Cheveria. There are other types of succulents available. Some succulents may not be suitable for animals, so this is specifically an Cheveria. Okay, so now we'll go from the succulent and dry loving plants to maybe one that likes a bit more moisture, or a couple that like a bit more moisture in their soil. So this is an splenium nidus, or a splenium antiqum, bird's nest fern as you'll commonly know it. This has wonderful striking wavy leaves that come out of the centre of the plant. It reminds me a little bit of a sea creature, like tentacles coming out of the pot. This, on that note, it is also perfect for bathrooms. As we said, it likes more moisture, it likes higher humidity. However, these are very forgiving and good in really any space in the home, and good for low light areas too. We did actually do a video on low light plants, and this was included. It was our previous video, so we'll link that at the end if you're maybe interested in watching that too, depending on what space you're trying to find plants for. This one is very easy to care for, as I've sort of alluded to. It just likes extra moisture in the soil, so water it regularly. Make sure that the soil doesn't dry out completely, although you can let the top dry out so long as there's just some moisture that remains in the soil. Should you happen to forget to water, you might notice, as I've probably done here, the tips can go ever so slightly crispy, but that's usually a sign that it needs either more regular watering or a little bit of higher humidity, but that's easily fixed once you notice that. And we've also got this Boston fern, or Nephelepis exaltata. So this one has a different look to the bird's nest fern. As you can see, it's got this lovely frilly, full, lush foliage, which will really add some amazing greenery to wherever you put it in your home. It has very similar care instructions to the bird's nest fern, It likes to keep some moisture in the soil, so you can let the top of the soil dry, but just don't let it dry out completely. And again, it also likes low light settings. If you think about where ferns are in their natural habitat, it likes to be in indirect light. It'll also be fine in bright indirect light as well, but depending on what space you're looking to fill, if low light is a challenge, then these are perfect options for you. This one is maybe quite a small version, small to medium, but you can get these much larger. So if you've got a bigger space to fill, you can buy these where the fronds are just sort of overspilling the pot and giving a really lovely jungle vibe. You can also hang them up as well, so they're perfect for that. Also a great way to keep them out of reach of your pets while it's safe for your animals. You might not still want them messing around with it or potentially knocking it off a shelf or a table where it might be. So you can hang them up maybe on hooks on the ceiling or hooks on a shelf and let the fronds dangle down, again for that jungle look. Okay, so keeping with the potential for hanging plants, this is another great plant for that. As you'll probably recognise, this is a spider plant or Chlorophytum cremosum. This one's just a standard variety with these lovely bright leaves. It's got dark green stripes down the leaf with the white or cream stripe down the middle. These can grow very large. I mean, this one's only a small one again, but they can grow very large and really fill out the pot and overflow the pot, or if you've got it in a hanger again, sort of overflow the hanger and give a really nice tropical feel to any room that they're in. They will pretty much grow anywhere as well, so if you've got low light situations, if you've got places with bright light, you can pretty much put these anywhere and they'll be happy. They're also incredibly easy to look after, so just like some of the other ones, if you forget to water them, probably not an issue with this one. If they do really need water, they'll show you because they'll go a little bit droopy, but generally you can let the soil dry out between watering. And one thing to note with this plant is not to overwater it. Sometimes if you overwater it and if the water stays in the soil, it can cause rot or the stems to go mushy. So that's a really good one if you occasionally forget to water. Now the next one is also a popular house plant. It's the Aspidistra elatior or cast iron plant. It's one that I don't actually have myself, but I do have some visuals here for you. So as you can see, it's a very traditional looking plant with the lovely deep green leaves in the sort of paddle shape. It's good for maybe small to medium sized spaces and it's happy in most light settings. So if you've got low light or bright indirect light, it should be happy wherever you need to put it in your home. It's fairly easy to look after too, so water it regularly. You can let the top of the soil dry out between waterings, but it does like to keep some moisture in the soil. So if you are looking to add a bit of colour to your home, then calatheas could be a good option for you. They come in so many different varieties with different mixes of light green, dark green, purples, pinks, and they really have striking markings on the leaves. As you can see, this one is the Calathea, or Geopersia as it's now been reclassified. I'll probably still refer to them as Calatheas as that's what I know them as. Calathea ornata or pinstripe plant. As you can see, the lovely dark glossy green leaves with this bright pink pinstripe on them, and on the back it's got a lovely dark purple shade to them. So this is really noticeable in the light. You can get similar looking ones or different looking ones but in a similar sort of pattern. White ones with green lines, which is the Majestica White Star. You can get ones with completely green leaves and a translucent sort of network detailed pattern on it, which is the Calathea network. These ones I find are more forgiving than most Calatheas, so these are good maybe starter Calatheas, as they do require a little bit more attention compared to some of the more easygoing plants I've shared earlier. They do like moist soil and they like high humidity. You can let the top of the soil dry between watering, but really never let it dry out completely. And in terms of high humidity, if they don't get enough humidity and water, then you can notice that they start to go crispy on the edges and on the tips. And sometimes once that's happened, you can't obviously save that leaf and you've got to wait for new leaves to come up. If you are confident in your plant keeping abilities and you've got high humidity or more plants to put them in with, then you could go for the more traditional looking Calatheas. Again, these come in many different varieties. This one is a Calathea insignis or rattlesnake Calathea. You can see where it gets its name from, these long leaves with the light green and the dark green blotches on, and this lovely red or magenta tone to the back of the leaves, if you can see that in the camera. Many of them have this sort of similar colour scheme and similar markings, just different shaped leaves. You can also get sort of more darker green varieties, ones with more pink and purple on them, for example, so you can really find whatever you're looking for the particular look you're going for in your home. I feel like these actually have more sturdier leaves or maybe thicker leaves, which is why they don't go crispy as much, whereas these ones are much more delicate and more prone to crisping. So I've also got some crisping going on some of the leaves, if you can see that there, the lower edges of this leaf, but it looks generally okay. Lots of really nice green leaves that are not crispy, so just bear that in mind. These ones can be fussy, they like a bit more attention, So provided you can offer that, you can have these really striking plants in your home. So this next one is also a great one to add a bit of colour and visual interest to your home. You might think this looks similar, like a Calathea, and that's because it is actually related. They're all from the Maranta family. This is a Stananthia. I don't actually know the variety of this one. I think it was mislabelled. So this is where you can come in. If you are a plant enthusiast and you know what this is, then do let me know what type it is. So it was listed as a Stananthia oppenheimiana, but the markings and the colours slightly off for that. The size is right, but the markings aren't quite right. For me, the colour and the markings look like an ambergris, but the size of the plant is just not in keeping with how compact an ambergris is. So if you can shed any light on what type of Stananthia this is, then please do drop it in the comments below. So any variety of Stananthia would be a great option to add some colour to your home. They have lovely markings on the leaves. As you can see, this has got sort of a silvery green and the dark purpley red on the back of the leaves. These do have similar care needs to the Calatheas, so they do like moist soil. You can let the top of it dry out between watering, and they also like high humidity. However, these ones are so much more forgiving, or I've found them to be much more forgiving than Calatheas. So if you want a similar look to a Calathea, but you're not quite confident that you can stop them going crispy, give a Stananthia a try instead, and these ones will give you the same sort of colour, same sort of lovely leaf markings, but for maybe less attention, less fussiness. You can get these in different varieties too, so slightly different markings, similar sort of that lovely light green with the dark green blotches like the rattlesnake Calathea. You can get them with similar markings. You can also get them in lighter greens with yellow variegation, the Lebesiana. So have a shop around if this is the sort of thing you're after. You want some colour which is easy to look after, or at least easier to look after than Calatheas, then go for a Stananthia. So we're keeping it in the Maranta family. This is another type of plant from the family. This is actually called a Maranta. This is a Maranta lemon lime, so it's got this stunning pattern on the leaves, dark green with the lemon or lime colour and these markings. These aren't just markings on the leaves, it's almost like the leaves are embossed, so it's textured. These ones come in a variety of different colours, so you can also get this as the Fascinator variety, where the colour is a dark green and the veins are a really bright pink or red colour with dark red on the back. You can get it in a variegated form and also the rabbit's foot plant too, or rabbit track plant, the Cheveria, and that's a more green leaf with sort of brown markings on the leaf, so really depending on the colour that you're going for and the striking patterns that you want, you can find different varieties of these to suit your home too. These ones really are conversation starters if people haven't seen these types of plants before and these wonderful markings on the leaves. As with the Calatheas and the Stananthia, they do have similar care instructions. They do like slightly moist soil. Again, you can let the top dry out between watering so long as you keep some moisture in the soil, and they will be happier with more humidity. However, they will be more forgiving than Calatheas, just like the Stananthia are. This is great for a plant if you want it to sprawl over the pot, a little bit like the Fern, where it sort of hangs down or spreads out, as this can sort of trail out like that, and it's trying to, you can see it's trying to go out of the pot that way. But you can also put these on plant supports and let them show off the leaves as they grow up. So you can really suit this to most spaces. It likes bright indirect light. So let's take it back to an easy to care for variety of plants. So this is a Peperomia Rana Verde. There are so many different types that you can get with different sort of looks, feels, different colours, different textures of the leaves. So you can really find anything for the look that you're going for in your home. One really nice thing with Peperomia is because they're generally quite small in size, you can sort of mix and match and make really nice displays with the different types of leaves that you can get. So this one's got lovely textured green leaves with this white variegation, if you can see that on the camera. You can get these with really, really vibrant reds on the leaves or dark greens, even with silver on the leaves, so it's almost got like a silver sheen on the leaf, which makes it look a little bit mystical. This one's quite a compact variety, so you can see all of the little stems coming out of the centre of the plant, but you can also get them in more of like a tree form, or their sort of common name, the rubber plant. They're really easy to care for, so you can let the soil dry out between watering. They'll be pretty much okay in any light setting as well, so they'll be happy in low light or bright in direct light, maybe even some direct light, just not too much direct sun. These ones are okay if you forget to water them. You'll see if they do need watering as well if it's been too long, as they start to droop a little bit. One thing with this, similar to the spider plants, try not to overwater them, as they can be prone to rotting of the stem and go a little bit mushy, just like the spider plant can. So if you do forget to water, another good plant for you. As long as you do remember occasionally to water it, then this should be fine. So it is worth noting that the safety of these plants for pets is based primarily on cats and dogs, as they're likely going to be the ones that will be roaming around your house freely, more likely to paw or nibble on these plants. For any other animals, reptiles, birds, smaller mammals, then you can also double check that. I'll share a link a little bit later so you can double check if the plants are considered toxic to animals and potentially what animals. These are, as I said, not toxic to those animals, but if they do eat enough of them, if they happen to just wolf one of these down, it probably still would cause a stomach upset, but it's not toxic, it won't poison them. So do bear that in mind, do still try and keep them out of reach or avoid them from being eaten completely, as it's still not good for your animals. So I did say at the start of the video that I would share a list of plants that were unsafe for pets as well, and some of these are really popular houseplants, so quite surprising they're on the unsafe list. This is the really recognisable Monstera deliciosa, this lovely big fenestrated leaf. You've also got the Cheveria or snake plant or mother-in-law's tongue. Well, this one's quite a heavy one, as you can see there. Another very popular plant, but not safe for pets. You've got the golden pothos, devil's ivy or Epipremnum aureum and the different varieties of that. The ficus plants, so Ficus elastica, the rubber tree, or Ficus lyrata, the fiddle leaf fig. You've got Dieffenbachia or dumb cane. That one actually probably is more fatal than any of the others. The sap in that, if it's ingested, can cause some really serious side effects. And then you've also got aloe vera, which is quite a surprising one. So that has many health benefits for us, but not for animals. It is toxic to animals. So bear that in mind though, if you do have any of these plants in your home, or you were tempted on getting any, then do think about where you're going to put them, if you need to move them, or if you need to put them somewhere out of reach of your animals if you've got cats and dogs that could get their paws on them. So that wasn't an exhaustive list of the plants that might be toxic to your pet, but you can double check which ones are, maybe before you buy them, or just to check the ones that you do have in your house if it's not listed in the video today. So you can use the ASPCA website, which I've linked in the description below. It's one of the most comprehensive databases of plants and their toxicity and safeness for animals, mainly cats, dogs and even horses, but if you have a look at their listings you'll find out what the different ratings are for the different plants and whether they might be suitable to have around your pets. So check that out if you are interested or you need to check something. I hope you found this video useful in helping you to find out what plants are safe for your pets and which ones might not be. If you are unsure about what plants would be good in different light settings in your home and you've got low light areas, then check out our previous video about plants good for low light spaces, which I'll link at the end for you. If you'd like to see more plant related content, then please do subscribe, and we'll have new videos every week, usually on a Sunday. As always, thank you for watching Grow Your Wellbeing.